Previously, on Engineering the Jigsaw, we've talked about how AI might be used in the development of a vehicle or even within its embedded software. One of the kinds of AI that we mentioned was a so-called LLM, or large language model. What is a large language model, though? Let's go find out. Hi everybody, I'm Ian Cunningham from VectorGB. Welcome to this foundation level episode of Engineering the Jigsaw, foundation episode number 26. What is a large language model, or LLM for short? So in episode F25, we talked about how AI might be in the system we're developing, in our development process tooling, or both. Some common terms that you might have heard in relation to AI then are fuzzy logic, neural networks, and machine learning. And these are used to build technologies such as computer vision systems for video processing, big data systems to analyze monitored data to uncover trends or patterns, and large language models, or LLMs, our focus for today, that we might use in engineering tasks such as coding or even testing assistance. In the case of large language models, we can break that name down a bit, just like we did at the start of Engineering the Jigsaw when we described an ECU, or electronic control unit. So we'll approach this by first looking at language, then models, and then how the two come together. So let's define language. Language, when we talk about an LLM, a large language model, does not only mean emails or chatting. It means any structured text with meaning. Let's explain that with some examples. So, an example that an engineer might know for a structured text with meaning would be some kind of document, for example, specifications or data sheets. Also, log files, text descriptions, such as for requirements or use case descriptions, source code, such as C source code files, the contents of tables, tabulated data that's captured in spreadsheets, and the content of configuration files could be XML, could be JSON, could be YAML, could be anything. But this idea of structured text with meaning is important as it explains why in engineering we need more than just simple chat interfaces a lot of the time. So, model. The word model is one we use a lot in engineering as well. So models are used to help us understand behavior and make predictions. So examples you might know here are simulation models, architecture models, network, communication models. Models are just a simplified representation of something that allow us to get some understanding and make predictions. And language models are no different. Language models are a model of how language behaves. So, a language model is a piece of software that has learned patterns from very, very large amounts of text in what's called training. Its core capability is prediction. So given some text, a question or a statement or a other prompt, it will predict what is likely to come next or how pieces of text might relate to one another. Language models, it's important to state here, do not understand language in the same way as humans. They run purely on statistical patterns that have been learned from their training data. A useful kind of shortcut to summarize this is that a large language model or a language model predicts how text probably continues. So it is statistical. We are working with probability. There is no definite, complete answer here. Large then. Let's get large. Language models are called large because, or LLMs are called large because they are trained on very, very large volumes of text, and because the models themselves contain many, many internal parameters. Those internal parameters are the ones that the model uses to make predictions. Large does not mean clever. It does not mean correct. And it certainly does not mean reliable. Large purely refers to scale, the size of the model and its training data. So, are LLMs all there is? A short answer is no, and we'll explore more things in relation to LLMs in a future episode. But for the meantime, it's worth pointing out that large language models are actually a specialization of something broader, which are often called foundation models. Now, a foundation model is one that's trained on very large data sets, so the large of LLM fits there. And also, a foundation model is slightly different because a foundation model is designed to be general purpose, so it's reusable across many different tasks. Large language models are foundation models that have specialized in language and text. Other foundation models may focus on tasks such as images, video, or audio processing. So we might make use of foundation models in vehicles, for example, within ADAS or voice control. So foundation models may also work with combinations of different data types. For this episode, though, we're going to deliberately stay focused on large language models. It's just worth knowing that they're part of this larger context. So we've talked about what an LLM is. What is an LLM not? LLMs are not human. They are not engineers. They are not a thinking system. LLMs are not creative, nor are they a reliable source of truth. Despite these limitations, there are a number of things that LLMs are very good at. So they excel at working with large amounts of text, such as summarizing or rephrasing information, or generating prototypes of codes or drafts of documentation. LLMs are also good for explaining a concept in a different way. This makes LLMs really great assistive tools. They handle the language-heavy parts of engineering work really well, while not replacing engineering judgment. So they assist, not replace. Because large language models do not make decisions and cannot take responsibility, and they do not understand risk or safety, they make great assistants to engineers while being unable to replace them. We can think that LLMs are like a kind of power tool for working with text and text-based information, just as other tools speed up tasks without removing responsibility. As an example, a chainsaw accelerates a lumberjack's work when they are felling trees, but they do not replace the lumberjack's skill and judgment in how to fell trees in a safe and efficient manner. In the case of large language models, they can accelerate language-centric activities while keeping accountability firmly with the engineer. As a summary, a large language model is a model of language behavior based on statistics. It works by learning patterns from vast amounts of text. Large language models are a specialization of foundation models, and they assist engineers rather than replacing them. If you want to know more about LLMs and AI, then our next episodes are going to cover how you might use LLMs with things such as agents, agentic workflows, the Model Context Protocol, or MCP for short, Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short, and also watch out for some special upcoming episodes explaining how Vector and why Vector is enabling its products with AI. Make sure to join me after the music if you want to get in touch in the meantime. Really hope you've enjoyed this episode of Engineering the Jigsaw. Make sure if you have, you give it a thumbs up in YouTube. If you have questions or ideas, then give us a comment down below the video. If you don't want to do it in public, if you want to keep it private, then drop us an email to our special email address, engineering.jigsaw@vector.com. You can find a link to our webpage with those contact details on in the description for this video. Make sure that you subscribe to get notified as we release new episodes and as Vector publishes its excellent and informative videos on its YouTube channel. Make sure to check out our playlists. We have our foundation episodes playlist and also intermediate level playlist as well, for you to binge and catch up with. We'll catch you for another episode soon. Goodbye.